This is our first class. I am your new science teacher and I will handle your physics and chemistry portions. Today we are going to start the physics chapter, force and pressure. In this chapter we are going to deal how this force is defined and what are the different types of pressures and like that. First of all, this is a ball and I want to move this ball. How can I move this ball? By applying a force. Then how can we define this term force? That is the question here. How can we define this term force? Then what are the changes happening in this body when I apply this force on this object? These are the things we are going to discuss in this chapter. First of all, you want to fill a table in your textbook. The table number 11.1. You can see here. There is a table and here in the second column they are given some situations. You have to fill what are the actions happening in each case. First you fill this 4 table and write what are the actions. If it pushing, pulling, picking, hitting, lifting, lowering, flying, kicking, throwing, shutting, flicking. Like what is happening here, you just write it here. Then after that you just write these 2 columns if they are happening push or pull in each of the cases. This is the table you first have to fill. You please pause the video and fill this table. This is the first task for you. The table 11.1. Hope you filled the table. We can conclude from the table that in every situation we may have a push or pull. That is, when we are acting a force to an object, there may happen a push or pull. So, we can simply define this force as the push or pull acting on an object. That is, every action can be denoted as a push or pull, and generally we are defining the force as a push or pull on an object is called force. This is a simple definition of force. I hope it's clear for you. For example, we are considering 2 magnets. This is the North Pole and South Pole. This is the North Pole and South Pole. What happens here? The same polarities will repel. This repel is called, is it push or pull? It is push. That is, these 2 things will repel. And when we are taking another example, south, north, south, north. What happens here? The magnet gets attracted and it gets stick. What is this? This is a pull. So, in each and every cases of force, we can say it as a push or pull. This is what we define here. I think it's clear by this example. Now, the question is how this force is acting on certain objects. Here is a car. And here is a person standing without touching this car. Is this car moving with the presence of this person without touching here? What happens? This car will not move with the presence of this person without touching. Now this person push this car. Then what happens? This car moves to this side. That is, the person give force in this direction and this car will move to the direction of applied force. Applied force. This is one of the examples given in your textbook. In the another example, two girls are standing and each of them are pushing each other. Each of them are like they are holding their hands and pushing like this. And another example, two girls standing and pulling each other. And there is another example that a person and a cow standing near and they are pulling each other. In each and every example, we can here see an interaction. We can see an interaction. That is, from this car and this person, there have an interaction. That is, a touch is happening between these two bodies. Likewise, these two people also have an interaction and these two people have an interaction. So, I am here concluding that with only an interaction, there acts a force. That is, a force only acts on a body by the interaction of two or more objects. I think this session is clear for you. The next question is, do all forces cause motion? Here, I am taking a big block and a person here stands and try to push this block. And I told you already, this is a huge box and this person felt difficulty to push this. Now he called another person and then these two of them try to push this. Then what happens? This block slowly started to move. Again, another person will also come and push this. Then what happens? This will more faster and move to this side. That is, we are applying force to this side and this block also moving to this side. What happens here? That first of all, this person only acting 10 Newton. You know, the unit of force is Newton. Newton. We denote it as 10. So, here this person first given only 10 Newton. After that, we called another person and he gave 10 Newton again. And again this person come and again 10 Newton. So, the total force acting on this block is the sum of these three forces. That is 10 Newton plus 10 Newton plus 10 Newton. And likewise, the whole force acting here is the sum of these three forces and then acted 30 Newton here. So we can conclude here that the total force acting on a body is the sum of the total forces acting on that body. That is, the F is equal to F1 plus F2 plus F3 plus etc. 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 So this is the first equation. You just understand it. But the force is the sum of the different forces acting on the body in same direction. This is very important. Same direction. Then why I said that the same direction? We can look another example and give more explanations. Now you consider the same huge block. Here again a person tries to push in this direction and here another person standing and trying to push in this direction. That is, this person is trying to push in this direction and this person is trying to push in this direction. In the earlier stage, we just put all these people here and we give the force in same direction and we sum, that is we just added all the forces. This is the first force, this is the second force, that is by the second person, and this is the force by the third person. Here for this person he is giving 10 Newton and here this person is giving 5 Newton. Then what is the force totally acting on this object? That is the question. What we do? Here we do the difference. For finding the force here acting, we find the difference of these two forces. That is F is equal to here 5 Newton minus 10 Newton. That is we get minus 5 Newton. Then you think where this minus comes from. This minus indicates the direction of that object. This minus indicates the direction of the force acting on this object. You know this force is higher and what happens? The push to this direction will takes place in this object in a magnitude of 5 Newton. We can express the value of force with the magnitude of the force of this object. So when I said that minus 5 is indicating the direction of the force, you know that force is having both the magnitude and direction. So the force is vector or scalar. What is your answer? Is it scalar? Scalar is the quantity which only have the magnitude. They don't have direction. But our force have direction and magnitude. So this force is a vector quantity. Vector quantity. So we can conclude this session as when the force is acting on the same direction, we will find the force by adding these all forces. And when the force is acting on the opposite sides, what we do? We just find the difference of these magnitudes of the force and they get a direction and the magnitude. So we can conclude it as for same direction, force is the sum of the forces, and the force acting on opposite directions or different directions, then it is the difference. It is the difference. This is here happening. And there is another question. If there happens the zero acting force on any object. Again I am taking the cube and a person acting force 10 Newton in this direction and 10 Newton in this direction. We said in opposite direction of acting forces, what we do? We find the difference. And when we find the difference in this case, what we get? We get 0 Newton as the total force. We get 0 Newton as the total force. What is that? That is because when this person acting force to this side and this person acting force to this side, this cube will not move to any direction. That is the meaning of this 0 Newton. That means this block do not get force from this both of this person, that this force get cancelled here. This is happening in this example. Now we can look another example. The tug of war. Here this person provide 10 Newton force. This person provide 20 Newton force. And this person give 50 Newton force. And this person give 10 Newton force. Now here these people are giving force to this side and these people give force to this side. Now you want to find the total force acting in this A group, that is this A group and this B group, and find who will win this match. This is a task for you, and you find the total force here and total force here, which will be greater, and the team having the total maximum force will succeed in this tug of war. In the last area, we discussed that the force will turn an object to motion. Now, what are the things are we discussing? That the object is already in motion. This object is already in motion and it have a certain speed. And after again I am giving a kick on this. That is, I am hitting on this. What happens? This will move faster. That is, the speed here increases. The speed here increases. And another way, I just put my hand before this fast moving ball, and what happens? The speed of this ball gets decreased. In certain time, the speed decreases. So we can conclude that for an object we are giving force, it can increase the speed of an object or decrease the speed of an object. And another thing is that how can I stop the moving ball? It can be done by giving a certain force on this ball. That is, I am holding my hand on this ball will stop. And what happens? Here I am giving a force on this object. So we can also stop an object. What is this stopping an object called? When the speed of an object is equal to 0, when the speed of an object is 0, what is it called? Then the object is in rest, or the object will stop. That is, here we explained. That is, for an object with a certain speed is moving, we can increase the speed of the object by giving a certain force on this object. That is the first thing. The another thing is, we can give force and we can decrease the speed of the object. That is the second thing. The third thing is that a moving object can stop, or the speed can be turned into 0 by giving a certain force. This is the third 3 points that I explained here. I think it is clear for you. Now, consider a ball which is moving in this direction. It has certain speed and it is moving in this direction. And I just did that. I am kicking here to this direction. I am hitting. Then what happens? Still this ball will move to this direction? No. It will go to another direction. So, we can change the direction of an object by applying a certain force. That is, it can change the direction of an object by giving a force on this object. So, in this section, we discussed we can change the speed of the object, maybe increasing or decreasing, or these all are considering that we can change the state of motion of an object. State of motion. State of motion. What is this state of motion? State of motion can be defined by considering the speed and direction of an object. The speed and direction of an object. The force can change the speed. It can be increasing or decreasing, and here we explain the force can also change the direction. So, this force can change the state of motion of an object. of motion, it also includes state of rest. State of rest. That is, when an object is in rest, when we apply force, what happens? This ball will move and it happens the state of motion. The rest turns into motion. And when this object is already in motion, when I apply force, what happens? The motion will turn into rest. So, we can conclude that the force which given to an object can change the state of motion. And the state of rest is what? The speed equal to 0. This is all the things just discussed here. Now the question is, do all the forces cause change the state of motion? Now consider example. I am giving force to this ball in that direction. I am pushing this ball. Do this ball move to that direction? No. So, we have to understand that in some examples, there is no change in the state of motion. But there is only a tendency, very small tendency. But still, I am applying a force. So, you want to understand that there is no such change in state of motion in all the examples, and in some examples we are applying force but there is no change in its state of motion. Now I am giving you a task. Take your textbook, the activity 11.5, this table. You have to fill this. Here they are given certain situations and they apply force on this object. You want to write where it happens the change of motion and if there happens the change of the shape. This is the task for you. You just want to tick here. Hope you all filled the table. By concluding this table, we can say that when we applying force on an object, it changes the shape of that object. That is, when I am applying force on this object, what happens? Its shape changes. So, in this class, we discussed different things that by applying a force, what are the things happening? It gets moved or it changes the state of rest or state of motion. Changing the state of rest or motion. That is, when we are giving force, it may move when it is in rest and we can stop it when they are in motion. The other thing is that it changes the speed. It changes the speed. The another thing is that it means the force can change the direction. And the next thing is that the force can change the shape of the object. Shape of the object. These are the things we discussed in this class. And now we are going to define the force by consolidating these all points to the definition of force. The definition of force is that which changes or tend to change the shape, size, volume, speed, state of rest or state of motion of a body. That is, once again, force is that which changes or tend to change the shape, size, volume, speed, state of rest or state of motion of a body. In this class, we completely discussed about what is force and what are the things happening when we are giving force on an object. It's enough for today. We covered too many areas in this class. I already told you this is our first class and I can't give you class before these days. So I take many topics today. You want to read your textbook 3-4 times by taking some time. And we can take further topics in next class. Thank you.